less than 24 hours till the games actually matter. And in today's video, we are going to break down the entire Red Sox 26-man roster and preview the 2025 Boston Red Sox season. I'm your host, Jack Lautaret. Welcome into this edition of the Red Sox Rundown. And I'm so excited for opening day. And I'm actually going to be at opening day, posting a bunch of short-form content, full videos, all of that. And you're going to find all that on Instagram. And I'm going to make a deal for all of you Red Sox fans today. I will follow back the next 10 people that follow our Instagram at the Red Sox Rundown. I'm going to be posting stuff on our stories, and I'm going to be posting reels all day from Arlington and all throughout the weekend from Arlington, the first 3 games of the Boston Red Sox season. So don't miss out. Make sure you follow the Red Sox Rundown. I will follow back the next 10 people that do. All right, before we get into the preview, we should talk about the biggest additions to the roster this offseason. Of course, you got Garrett Crochet via trade at the winter meetings, the blockbuster 4 prospect trade for the Red Sox. You signed Alex Bregman, Walker Buehler, and Aroldis Chapman in free agency. Those were the most substantial free agency signings. They obviously made more signings in free agency, but those are the 3 most substantial. And then Kristian Campbell, the young buck makes the roster, got called up, and I'm very excited for his debut tomorrow as well. So here's what we're going to talk about today on the video. I'm going to run through the entire Red Sox roster, and I'm going to tell you who I think is going to be the offensive MVP, the Cy Young winner for the team, reliever of the year, breakout player of the year, and at the end of the video, I will give you my record prediction. Let's start with the offense. Here is what I would assume is the Red Sox starting infield going into the season. Connor Wong's your catcher. Tristan Casas at first. Kristian Campbell at second. Trevor Story at short. Alex Bregman at third. I've said this once. I'll say it again. I am so excited for the debut of Kristian Campbell. He looked a million times better in those 2 exhibition games in Mexico than he did in spring training. He had a home run yesterday. He had numerous RBIs. He looked comfortable. He looked ready to go. So I'm just overjoyed and so ready to see Campbell finally make his Major League debut. And then, of course, you also bring in Alex Bregman, who I think is going to absolutely tear up the Green Monster this year. He is a picture-perfect match for this Red Sox team. And the news came out today that he is going to be the full-time third baseman because this guy right here, Rafael Devers, is going to be your everyday DH. The writing was on the wall that Devers was going to be your DH. But Alex Cora officially today came out and said, Rafi's at DH, Bregman's at third. So now that that is the case, you've got Rafi at your DH position, which I actually really like. I think that that's the perfect spot for him. He's going to stay healthy. He only has to focus on doing the thing he does best, hit. I know a lot of people don't love this decision. I know a lot of people think that Rafi's going to be pissed off. Give it a month. Give it a month. When Rafi is still healthy, is not sore every day when he wakes up from playing in the defense, when he's not in a slump because he's making errors at third, when he only has to focus on hitting absolute bombs, he's going to be just fine. So he's your DH. You also got Carlos Narvaez, Romy Gonzalez, David Hamilton as your backups, your backup catcher, and your 2 utility men. David Hamilton, best utility backup player in all of baseball, in my opinion. Then you got the outfield, who I've said if they all reach their ceilings, this can be a top 5 outfield in baseball this year. Jarren Duran, Ceddanne Rafaela, Wilyer Abreu, Rob Refsnyder. That is your outfield. Of course, the top 3 are your starters, and then Rob Refsnyder, the absolute lefty killer, is going to be your backup outfielder. My Red Sox MVP, this might surprise some people because I think a lot of people were going to say Alex Bregman. I think it's going to be Jarren Duran. I think Jarren Duran is going to continue with the amazing campaign that he put on last year and show that that was not a fluke. I think we saw legit, real Jarren Duran this past year. And now that he's comfortable, now that he's not fighting to survive on this roster, and now that he's one of the leaders of the team, I think he's going to be even more comfortable than he was last year. So therefore, I think Jarren Duran is going to be the Red Sox offensive MVP this year. But you let me know. Who do you think is going to be the Red Sox offensive MVP? I know a lot of people are probably going to say Alex Bregman. I know there's probably going to be some Rafael Devers in there. But I do still think it's going to be Jarren Duran. But you let me know. Go down below in the comments. Let me know. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's video. So you're probably going to get hit with a YouTube ad break right here in the next few seconds. When that happens, let the ad play, go on down, and answer today's pinned comment. Here is the rotation for the Boston Red Sox. It's obviously not what you want to see because you've got Brian Bayo, you've got Cutter Crawford, and you've got Lucas Giolito all on the IL to start the season, but I digress. We carry on. Garrett Crochet, Tanner Houck, Walker Buehler, Richard Fitz, and Sean Newcomb. Richard Fitz has looked really good in the spring. I think he might earn a spot in this rotation sooner rather than later for the long term. But my Cy Young Award winner, of course, is Garrett Crochet. Of course. The blockbuster trade that happened this offseason. This guy was a stud last year. Look at his spring training stats. Look at them. They're incredible. 15 and 2/3 innings pitched, 30 strikeouts, which is the most in Major League Baseball in the spring training. He had an ERA of 0.57. Let me read that for you again. An ERA of 0.57 in 15 and 2/3 innings pitched and a whip of 1.34. Guys, Crochet's, I think, is going to win the actual Cy Young. I don't even think he's just the Red Sox Cy Young Award winner. I think he's going to win the actual AL Cy Young this year. And that is something that is incredibly special. Now, the only thing I'm going to say, though, is you need to extend him, though, which isn't going to happen. Crochet has spoken in the past few days, and he says, yeah, I just don't think it's going to happen by opening day. And if that doesn't happen, according to Jared Carabas of the Section 10 podcast and a lot of other people, I don't think that's ever going to happen. And that leaves a sour taste in my mouth, but enjoy the time while you have him. And I think this year he's going to win the damn Cy Young. Let's talk about Tanner Houck, though, for a second. He is my pick for biggest regression this year. He's not looked good in spring training at all. He hasn't. And while I'm not going to overvalue spring training stats, it's still something to worry about because in the second half of last season, when offenses were starting to get the film on the Red Sox pitching staff, he started to regress. And that was something we saw for the entire rotation. The reason the Red Sox rotation at the beginning of the season was so good last year was because they didn't throw any fastballs, and that threw off hitters. But once the second half of the season came and people started to pick up what they were putting down, they were able to mash. And we saw pitchers like Tanner Houck start to regress a little bit. So I'm not going to hit the panic button on Houck yet, but he's definitely someone to watch these first few rounds through the rotation, because he could be my biggest regression this year. Guys, I'm going to be in Arlington for the first 3 games of the Boston Red Sox season, posting short-form content, doing videos from the stands after every single game. Don't miss out. Make sure you hit that subscribe button. We're going to be your one-stop shop for everything Red Sox opening day and the entire 2025 Boston Red Sox season. Do not miss out. Help us get to 1,500 subscribers as soon as possible. News, rumors, injury updates, everything surrounding the Boston Red Sox. Hit that sub button. All right, the last part of the roster that was not finalized until today, and it's not technically finalized, but it's basically finalized, is the bullpen. Aroldis Chapman, Justin Slayton, Garrett Whitlock, Liam Hendricks, Justin Wilson, Zach Kelly, Greg Weissert, and Brennan Bernardino is the last player to make the roster for the Red Sox today. My reliever of the year is going to be Garrett Whitlock. I'm really excited to see what he brings after not pitching at all last year due to injury. Everything we've heard coming out of camp is that he looks like 2021 Garrett Whitlock, which, if you remember, 2021 Garrett Whitlock is probably the best compliment you can get if you're a relief pitcher. Now that he's just focusing on coming out of the pen and not having to worry about starting games, I think he's going to really get comfortable, really hone in, really lock in, and be probably not just the best reliever on the Red Sox, but I would say compete as one of the best relievers in all of baseball. The biggest storyline to watch in the bullpen, though, is Aroldis Chapman. You need Aroldis Chapman to perform. I'm eating crow. I'm going to eat crow. I kept saying all offseason long, I hated this signing. I hated this signing. This signing's horrible. He cannot hit the broadside of a barn. And then Aroldis Chapman came in here and said, Jack, you're wrong. And he put up an incredible spring training. He rightfully earned the closer spot, but he's going to be on a short leash. He needs to perform. If he does, I think the Red Sox are going to be in a really good spot this season because I thought the bullpen was the weakness of this team. But if Chapman can prove that he is back to, Chicago Cubs Chapman, the bullpen might be pretty dangerous. But you let me know. I want to hear your thoughts. What's your confidence level in the Red Sox bullpen as a whole? Scale it 1 to 10 for me. I'm going to say probably a 7. I need Chapman to show me that he's legit. Again, we're not going to overvalue spring training stats here. If he can carry that into the regular season, then that number might go up. But you guys let me know in the comments. 1 to 10, give me your confidence level in the Red Sox bullpen. All right, let's talk breakout candidates. This one, I was so excited to talk about this one because there's so many players that I think could solidify themselves as bona fide superstars on this team this year. Here's the 5 that I came up with. Ceddanne Rafaela, Tristan Casas, David Hamilton, Richard Fitts, Justin Slate. I think Richard Fitts has a great shot at being a really solid piece in the Red Sox rotation / bullpen this year. I think Tristan Casas, while I think we kind of already know what he is, I think he's going to break out and be a bona fide superstar this year. And Justin Slayton, I think, is going to be one of the best relievers in the game. But I'm going to give my nod to Ceddanne Rafaela. There's no doubt that he is Gold Glove caliber defender. We know this already. He showed the flashes last year. And now that he's going to get to be just in the outfield, I think he's going to have a breakout season. Look at his spring training stats. 12 hits, 10 RBIs, 2 home runs, an average of 316, and an OPS of almost 1,000. This guy is going to be an absolute baller. I will say, though, David Hamilton is a close second. Hamilton really impressed me this spring. He bulked up. That was the biggest thing Alex Cora asked him to do was add weight, add size, and add weight. He bulked up, and he showed out in the offensively. He looked really good at the plate. He drew out at bats. He hit for power. He hit for contact. We already know he's one of the fastest people in all of baseball. But the fact that he was able to produce at an offensive level that he did in this offseason, if it was not for Kristian Campbell, I think he would be your everyday second baseman. And he was a very close second for Breakout Player of the Year, but it's still, for me, Ceddanne Rafaela. When it's all said and done, my record prediction for the Boston Red Sox this year is 92-70. I'm not just saying this because I'm a Red Sox fan. And Allie, please cover your ears. I think the Red Sox are the best team in the AL East. And I don't think it's close. The Orioles, I don't really think are even a contender here. Gunnar Henderson starting the season on the IL. Their rotation got worse, and they didn't upgrade at all. And a majority of their rotation is injured. I don't see the Orioles as competition at all. The Blue Jays and Rays, no, not a competition at all. The Yankees, I would say actually probably upgraded after losing Juan Soto. But then you lose 2 of your starters. You lose potentially Giancarlo Stanton, one of your best middle-of-the-order power hitters, for the entire season. You are one Aaron Judge stub toe away from being one of the worst teams in baseball. I'm sorry. I'm just going to say it. So therefore, I don't think there is that much competition for the AL East. I think if the Red Sox do what they need to do, if they show up, if they cut down on the strikeouts, if they cut down on the infield errors, if the bullpen doesn't blow saves, they can be a 90-plus win team and win the AL East. I have them going all the way to the ALCS, potentially even the World Series this year. And just look at the landscape of the AL. The AL's not that good. The window is wide open. If they do what I think they can do, I think they win the AL East. But you go down in the comments, predict the Red Sox record in the comments. 162 games, so do the math, figure it out. I'm at 92-70. I think they have a very realistic road to the AL East, winning the AL East, winning the AL pennant, and making it to World Series. Then you play the Dodgers, and I don't think you're going to beat the Dodgers, but I digress. Let me know in the comments. Predict the Red Sox record down below. Before we get on out of here, one more time, I'm following back the next 10 followers on our Instagram at the Red Sox Rundown. I'm going to be posting on our story all day tomorrow, Friday, and Saturday from Arlington, the first 3 games of the Red Sox season. I'm so excited. I know you are all so excited, so make sure you follow us. I will follow back the next 10 followers. It's time, guys. Less than 24 hours until first pitch. I'm so excited. If you are, make sure you hit that subscribe button. And until tomorrow, go Sox.